Hi everyone, Catherine here. So today's video, I am hitting reset on my YouTube channel. I have had many YouTube channels over the years. They've been focused on many different things, and I just want to hit reset and reconnect with you all on what's going on in me and how I can best serve you. And I felt compelled to do this particular video from a book that I read that I wanted to share with you today, which I'll come on to in a minute. But I really just wanted to put myself out there. I'm finding it a little bit scary because I don't actually know how I can serve you, my YouTube audience, and I want to find out. So part of this discovery is going to be me making a video one a week for the next 12 weeks. And I'm just going to share with you what my soul tells me to share with you. And the idea of this came from a book called What My Soul Told Me by Dr. Richard Barrett. By Richard Barrett. And my soul told me to make these videos, so I'm practicing what I've learned from the book. And the first thing I'm going to share with you that my soul told me to share is actually about this book called What My Soul Told Me to Share. So just for context, Richard Barrett, I first came across his work a couple of years ago. I took a personal diagnostic called the 7 Levels of Consciousness, or the Personal Values Assessment, with his organization, the Barrett Values Center. And that really helped me understand what my personal values are. And when we feel challenged in life, when we feel in pain, when we're suffering, it's usually because our values are not matching the values of whatever the conflict is. These days, in the political systems in the West, I know a lot of us are feeling a very, very big upset because our values, we think, are not aligned with what we're seeing in the political sphere. So, for example, I'm an American-British dual national. In my mother country of origin, the United States, I don't feel that the current administration reflects the values that America was founded on, or my own personal values. And my personal values are actually very aligned with the values of the founding fathers of America: life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Love that. I don't feel like the current administration embodies those values, and I find suffering there. I also find suffering being a British naturalized citizen, in that my country, we over here in Britain, voted last year to leave the European Union. And actually in that year, I think we've actually I think we've evolved. I think when the vote was made, our values were a bit out of line. The values of togetherness were trumped by values of separation. And so actually I think we voted from a separatist spirit, and actually since then we actually realized that we're a lot more connected, and we would like to stay connected, because I don't hear anyone in Britain actually saying they're pro-Brexit. It now seems to be this thing that we all have to survive. It seems to be this thing we all have to deal with. But it's not actually something, we've seen the other side, that we're not actually for being separate. Which is why the government is trying to negotiate with the European Union to maintain the trade deals, and the European Union is like, well, no, you need to leave first. You're in or you're out. You negotiate, you either don't leave and you negotiate within the European Union, or you leave and then we negotiate. And there's this weird gray area where all this stuff is happening in between. But today, nobody that I hear of, and if you're one of these people, like if you're pro-Brexit, if you still think Britain should leave the European Union, like really curious to know why. At least I haven't heard that from anyone I know. It's not to say they're not out there, and just not hearing it as a sentiment. Whereas during the election a year ago, during the referendum, I did actually hear people arguing the point, whereas now it doesn't seem to me like, it just seems to me like it's this thing that nobody wants. So those are some real practical examples where values out are leading. My soul told me to say that. I don't know why my soul told me to say that. I did not expect that to come out, but that is what's come out. Back to the book. What I love about this book is that actually for all of the chapters, there is a summary. There's actually like a list of 5 to 8 points at the end. So it will actually like tell you the summary. So I think each and every point in the 12 chapters is amazing. But I'm only going to give you the highlights as my soul tells me to tell them to you. So one of the things that really resonated with me is the difference between your ego and your soul. And as I described with your values, where your values are out, where there's a gap in your values, there's suffering. And this also works on the ego soul dimension, which is, you know, your ego is all about your survival and meeting your needs. Like, do I have enough money, love, food, shelter, companionship, self-esteem, like where these needs are out. You know, your soul operates in a different sphere. It doesn't have needs. So your ego is worried about meeting those needs. Your soul is there for you to fill on a higher purpose. And where there's a gap, like where you're not getting your, you know, where there's a gap between what your ego wants and what your soul wants, there's also suffering. And Richard goes through some specific points about how you can actually listen to your soul, and you may know some of them already. You know, meditation and any practice that's about stilling the mind will help you connect with your soul. And for me, on a practical level, what this book, even though it's quite rational and actually makes very concrete sense and uses a bunch of different models to illustrate this. So it's very like science and fact based. And so it covers the spiritual or fourth dimension element of like, there's stuff that we don't know about being human that's not covered by science, psychology, religion. Like this book to me kind of draws from all kinds of different systems and puts it together in a way that actually is just really enjoyable to read, really makes a lot of sense, and actually I connected with on a deeper basis. So what I've really got out of this book is actually just a connection to my soul that I didn't know existed. What does that mean in practical terms? Like, I've started reacting more to impulses and intuition. So for example, when I have an idea, or it occurs to me like an idea, like it comes into my head, oh, how is so-and-so doing? It's like, now I will actually call so-and-so. And then so-and-so says, oh my God, I'm so glad you called because I wanted to talk to you about whatever. And I'm like, aha. So it's not really so much listening to my brain and the wiring of my brain and the stories my brain tells me. You're not good enough, you know, you don't have enough, like those thoughts. It's more just like there's like a deeper thing, like, no, I'm just supposed to call this person, I can't really explain it. No, I'm just supposed to make this video, I can't really explain it. And you know, that's something that I wasn't doing before I read this book. So I only finished this book a couple days ago. I've been reading it for a couple of weeks. You can read it in like a couple of hours, but like I just wanted to really savor each and every chapter. So if you're looking for answers, like if you're looking for like something, if you're looking for a book that's going to really challenge you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, I know we don't talk about our spiritual lives very much in Western modern, it's 2017. We are increasingly more talking about it. At least I didn't hear the word spirituality really bandied about outside the spheres of like Deepak Chopra and like to me, spirituality was in a very specific sphere. I'm only now starting to hear it from it's a part of everyone's everyday life, and that sort of everyday people like myself are starting to actually go, hold on, this is a thing, and actually it's important for me as a human to be connected to my spiritual self. Like, my spiritual self is a thing, and it's important, and I'm embracing it, and I'm quote unquote working on it, or I'm exploring it, I'm discovering it, I'm playing with it, and I wanted to share that with you today. So share with me, like I've shared with you, like, what did you get out of this video? What are you going to take away for yourself? What was your biggest learning? And what areas in your life are you dealing with that you would like someone to listen to and hear about and support you in? So please leave a comment. And I don't know what next week's video is going to be. I guess we'll find out. So thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting, and you're beautiful.